In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can take a wavefront object file like this and slice it into small chunks using PyriteCLI so that you can more easily load it into a game framework like Unity 3D. So let's take a look at what we're starting with. We've got a typical OBJ file, a texture, and an MTL file that describes the relationship between the object and the texture. So the first thing you're going to need to do is grab the latest release of PyriteCLI. Once you've got that decompressed, change into the directory and we'll launch the slicer. So X, Y, and Z are the number of slices we want to make. We're going to slice 2 by 2 by 1, so we'll have 4 chunks. UV are the texture slices. We're going to do those in 2 by 2 as well, so each of those 4 chunks will have its own texture. -O to write an object format output, --write MTL to write MTL files along with each of those object files. Then we provide the input texture, the output directory, and finally the source OBJ file. Go ahead and kick off the slicer. Now I'll fast forward through some of this. Depending on the size of your input data, the slicing can take quite a while. So this slicing took about 2.5 minutes. Let's see what it generated. So now we have an output folder. Notice we've got 4 object files in there now. All of the textures were put into a subfolder along with their MTL files. So we've got 4 textures now, each of them named with the XY coordinate, and then an MTL file to go with each of them. We also generated a metadata JSON file. This is used in Pyrite server, and you can use it for finding out general information about your object, tell you which cubes were generated during the slicing, the bounds of the world space, and we also give you some information like the vertex count. So let's take a look at these files we generated. So here's the original file. Let's hide that. And now let's add in our 4 cubes. So there's one piece. Notice each of these has its own distinct texture, which only contains the texture data relevant to that part of the object. So there's 2 pieces. Note they fit together cleanly, just like the original. Here's 3 of the pieces. And here's the final one. So we've taken what was a very large OBJ file and made it into 4 manageable pieces using PyriteCLI.